We're going to continue on with Lab 3. We've drawn the geometry, and now what we want to do is define it properly in Onshape. Basically, there's three types of line colors that we'll see for the geometry. Blue is underdefined, black is properly defined or completely defined, and red is overdefined. In this case here we actually have gray, and that's none of the above, and the reason is I'm not actually in my sketch. So to make sure that you're in your sketch, if it's gray, you're going to double click on this sketch 1 here, and at this point now we've got blue and black, and this tool window that I moved down here just to be out of the way shows that it's the sketch tool is active. Again, to recap, if I want to move or pan my drawing window, I just hold the mouse wheel and I can move it. So in this case here, we want to define this geometry, and by that we mean we want to get it totally black. These are the different constraints and that you can use. Coincident means that the two items are at the same point. Concentric is two circles share the same center. Parallels is the two lines have the same slope. Tangent is that a line and a circle touch in one point. Horizontal, vertical, perpendicular, this would be that two lines are perpendicular. Here would be two geometries are equal. This is that you can lock onto the midpoint of a line. And these are the ones that are typically used. At this point, let's get started. What I'm going to do is I want to dimension the part. We're only going to use 4 dimensions to completely get this part black. While you could do it with more, the nice thing is that if I say that this right vertical line and this left vertical line are equal, when I later decide to change this part length, they will both change. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to use the equal constraint to help us out here. So let's get started. I'm going to come over to Onshape. I want to show that those dimensions first. So let's go to the dimension tool. I wanted to dimension this circle, and we can just look over here real quick. I want to make it 2 inches. So I'm just going to click on the circle, and we can see that there's a little window that pops up, and I'm going to type 2 inches on that. Alright, and what happens when you do a circle, it's going to be the diameter. So this will be 2. Everything's scaled up a little bit with it. I can use my mouse wheel again to zoom in and to pan. I know that this dimension right here is 2, so I can just pull this over and type 2. I know that the dimension from the midpoint to this origin in the horizontal direction, so I'm going to pull my mouse down until I get to that, is 4 inches, so I just type 4. And I know that the dimension vertically from that same point from here to here is 4 as well. Okay. Now when I moved this line, what ended up happening was it moved the geometry with it, and so what I want to do is just kind of pull that as well, just to get it to where I want it to go, just so that the origin is, or that part is in the right place. This may or may not happen to you, but it's nice that you can just drag on a point and move it. So we're going to use a constraint to make the two lines equal. So I want to click on this left line, and I'm going to click on this right line, the two diagonals, and we're going to click on the equal constraint. And one nice feature is if I come over to the sketch panel here and click on show constraints, it will show me that that I have an equal constraint, and if I hover over it, it will show me the two lines that are equal. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to click on those same two diagonal lines, and I'm going to make them be perpendicular. Okay. And by doing that, I've ended up getting my geometry to be totally black. Now, for example, had I not locked on to this point here, maybe this line wouldn't show up as as equal, and so you may need to use the equal constraint between this line and this line to make that happen. When you're done, you want to typically pull the dimensions so that they're close to the geometry but not overlapping anything. And so I'm just going to come in here and make my final last changes. And at this point, I'm going to hit the green check because I've completed my task and save my work. And so we've just concluded Lab 3.